So, hi everyone, and welcome to the talk. And I'm very honored to be invited to talk about something that is kind of like a history now, academic Twitter. I'm not sure if you have used it. If you have used academic Twitter, can you give me a reaction or write in the chat or something like that so that I know that you know what I'm talking about? Okay, some people use that. That's nice. By the way, I'm Justin. I'm Justin Ho, and just like as this was introduced. I'm now a postdoctoral researcher at Amsterdam School of Communication Research. Before Amsterdam, I was studying in Edinburgh for my PhD, and after that, I went to Paris and then I went to Taipei, and now in Amsterdam. I don't know what's next, but I have done my world tour. And for my research focus now, I focus on computational social science. So basically, now I focus a lot more on the large language model, how to use that kind of model properly, to validate it, to make sure that there's like unbiased results, whatnot, and how to use that to do computational research, social science research, basically. But today I'm going to talk about something that kind of like my previous life. So my previous life, I studied social media. I studied social media for my PhD, and there were a time that Twitter was open, and it is still open but very expensive. But anyway, there were a time that Twitter data is open, and then it was a World Wide West, and I tried to develop a package that many people actually use. So yeah, that's the background of the whole story. So first thing first, if you don't know about me, you might know about this package. And this package developed by mainly two person. One is Chris, another is actually me. So I would like to talk about like the history about it and then my personal reflection about it. But before that, I would like to pitch to the audience, and I think the talk is most useful if you are a researcher who can code or who are interested in learning coding and you're interested in developing software. You might have some idea in your mind and then you want to do something, but you are not sure if you should do it, and you are not sure how you should get started to become a research developer. And this talk will be very, very helpful to you if you are like on the fence of if you should actually jump into the field. And I have some personal feedback, some good and some bad, and some of them are very ugly. But anyway, let's talk about the how to get started or how do I get started, because different project like obviously will have different points of entry. Might have to contact different people, but I will share my personal experience of how academic Twitter gets started. So basically everything starts with a tweet. This is Chris. Chris basically on Twitter share some code on it's a GitHub repo about like getting data from the it was quite new, the Twitter version 2 academic research product track. It was also based on some people sharing some code, so kind of like a community method. So I saw the tweet. I thought, it's quite interesting. Twitter is open. I just got the access. Can I do something? Well, so I retweeted, and then with a code say this is awesome. Chris actually replied saying that oh it needs word, but I asked for response whatnot, and I said oh it would be even cooler if you wrap them into a package and allowing for a lot of things like basically a wish list. And he said yeah, it's a good idea, but I'm too busy. Well, then I asked him, can I put in a pull request? By the way, if you are not like a familiar with GitHub or like software development, a pull request is basically a request that I have some code for you and you can incorporate in your project or you can toss it out, whatnot. So basically some contribution, it like some invitation for using my contribution, that kind of thing is pull request. He said yes, but I'm not sure how I can react on them. And then I just like 2 days later, I said done. I wrap them into a package. It can be installed. Basically, I haven't done anything. I just like make the thing a package. And then he said amazing stuff. And then he actually merged it. And a few months later, I have been one of the major creator of the package. I've submitted 54 commits and in total something around 8,000 lines. I also removed like 4,000 lines. So basically quite a lot of work that I put into. Uh, and then we upload the package on CRAN. Uh, it took a very long time to pass through the CRAN. I will talk a little bit about like why is it taking so long. But basically, we upload on CRAN, For now, I think we have like 45,000 downloads in total. So maybe 45,000 have used it or like at least like install it on the computer. I think it is still supposed to be usable, but you just don't have the API key. If you have the API key, the infrastructure is still the same. I'm not maintaining, no one is maintaining the package anymore, but it is still usable. Well, I'm not sure if I can get to use it anytime soon anyways. So basically that's that. And after we uploaded to Cran and some time passed, I actually did some search on like how many people are actually using them. And on Google, actually, many people are using them. Like in course outline, in tutorial, we have some multiple R Blocker blog posts about like how to use that, and people generally really like it. And I also write some tutorial and then post it online, whatnot. Okay, many people use that, and to the point that Twitter actually invite me and Chris to give a talk on Twitch. I'm not sure if you know about Twitch. So basically, it's a streaming platform for gamers and I don't know cosplayer like video games whatnot. So basically, I'm one of Twitch streamer now, and we were invited to a talk on Twitch, and there was also this thing is that Twitter was developing some materials to teach researcher how to use the API. And academic Twitter was actually one of the official package that they recognize and then they use it in their code and then examples, whatnot. So it was going really well. So here's my takeaway. Number one is that the community is quite open. Joining a project is often easy. It only takes maybe a retweet or reply or some conversation, and then you send a pull request. And like in my experience, if you send a like a legitimate or good enough pull request, no one is going to reject you because you are doing free work for them, and it is good for them. It is good for you if you find it fun or like if you enjoy the process. So joining is actually quite easy. And takeaway two is like the best time to get started is now. So when I saw the tweet of Chris, I just saying, I have some time and I'm doing it anyway. So maybe I will just do it and then just contribute to it. And then one thing led to the other, and I built one of the largest project in my life, at least. So it was a very, very fruitful experience. So basically, takeaway is like if you want to do it now. And but here's the catch. Uh, the first thing is like the good. Like seriously, why should I do it? I'm not sure if you know about like developing research software. Is that the reality is that when people use your research software, it is no guarantee that they will credit you in any way. They can just use it in their own and then do whatever they want and then not let you know. And all you know is that some people download that and then you only see that on statistic like on Cran or something like that. So should I really do it? Did I get anything about it? By the way, in this talk, I'm going to talk about my personal experience. It may or may not applies to you, and things can actually change like when the times become different. But I'm going to share my experience so that if you are on the fence or if you are thinking about it or if you know someone is thinking about it, you can give them some thoughts or like some experience to take reference to. So first thing first, developing research software, more often than not, you don't get paid. Like I have nothing like actually paid to me, no money, nothing. But there are certain benefits, especially for early career researcher when you're starting out and you don't know a lot of people, you don't know a lot of things, and then you want to learn, you want to get connected. It is quite beneficial. By the way, even though I said I did not get paid, but after the Twitter talk that I mentioned earlier, Twitter actually sent me this backpack. Like with it's a very nice pack with a laptop insert, whatnot, and there's like the nice Twitter logo, like the bird on the front, so I can wear it to conferences and be a nerd about it. So this is probably the only thing that worth anything that was paid to me when developing the software. So I got a backpack. So you got paid in some way. But other than that, you don't really get paid. You don't really get recognized. But me and Chris, we have a great idea of maybe writing a software article and publish it to Journal of Open Source Software. By the way, this is a extremely nice journal in the sense that you don't have to write too many things. If you already have the software in place, you can just write maybe 2 pages. You need a summary, you need a statement of need, like why do we need the software, and then you need some explanation, some reference, whatnot, and then you submit the paper as well as the GitHub repo. And it is an open review process to people. You actually know who is the reviewer, and you actually have a real-time chat with the reviewer, so you don't have to like hide behind the wall and then wait for the reviewer to say nasty thing to you. It is actually a very constructive and fruitful experience for me. So highly recommended if you have a if you have a software. I'm one of the reviewer as well. I was invited to review some package. So hopefully I can review your package and know what you have done. So basically that's that. A little bit detour. So basically we published article in the journal JOSS, and then it has I took the screenshot like quite a few days ago. So it has 235 citations, and in my quite short academic life, I only have 400 something. So which means that the article has more citation than everything else I have done combined. And I'm receiving citation for every, I don't know, every few days. I have like a few citation. So basically, if you build a software that is used by any, there are ways to get recognized and get credit, and those credit can means something to you. If your institution, I'm not sure which country are you working in. Some countries they look at citation count, some countries it doesn't really matter. I personally don't really care about it, but I am quite interested in who is using my research. So I actually go to like whatever the research that cited me and then see what they are doing, and I found out like many interesting stuff. Like people in all different fields, like people in medical science, they also use Twitter for whatever research they're doing. So uh yeah, that's that. So basically, if you want to get credit, you can get credit, and I got a lot of credit from that. So this is one thing. If you are starting out as an early career researcher, this might be important for you. It has been very fruitful for me. Another thing is that when you have a research software, there are actually many opportunities out there. I'm just going to point out this one, like the concept grant. So basically, the concept grant is a grant for you to build a new tool or new method or doing like research method, that kind of thing. So me and Chris and one of the co-author, like Hong, we submit a proposal for the concept grant. So we actually get some money to develop academic Twitter into what we call academic Twitter studio. So basically a click interface that you can actually download Twitter tweets by clicking, and you don't have to program. Well, the project eventually died, and because you know why. So but it was a very a good experience that I actually got a grant. If you are early career researcher like me, having a grant on your CV is actually not that bad. And if you, especially if you don't have anything else to show, just like me. So I benefit from it as well. And another thing is that this is actually the feedback of one of the personal grant that I'm going to I'm trying to apply for. So this is the official feedback from the reviewer. So I just want to point out that like the development of software I mentioned in my CV that I develop academic tutor is recognized by traditional academics as well. So nowadays, I think there are more and more awareness or recognition about how important research software is, and the skills to develop software is very different from using software to analyze, and people are starting to recognize that this is also a valuable skill for academics as well. So in my research application, in my grant application, the people actually recognize it. I don't know how big of a influence is that, but at least it is in the official writing. So I think it kind of like give them a positive or put me in a positive light in some sense. I don't really know. I can't know for sure, but it is helping me a little bit. So I have two more takeaways. First one is like developing software actually helps my CV, helps my profile. If you're ECR like me, maybe this is something that you can do alongside of your real academic work, because we academics like doing academic research is still our priorities, me as well. But I also do it as a side project that yeah, for fun, but it's also benefits me. Another thing is that developing software helps me building connection with other researchers, because in the academic Twitter project, we start with 2 person. We have many person actually join after that. So I've made connection with many of the people. Some of them are my friends now as well. So I think it is a very good way to get to know the people and get to know who share similar interests in the field. So I think this is a very, very fruitful process for me as well. Get to know the people. And okay, I've talked about the good. Now we have the catch, the bad things. Well, the first thing first, maintaining a software, I'm not sure if you have tried that, involves a lot of customer service. I'm going to show you one screen. So this is the issue screen. Issue is a thing on the GitHub repo that when people have things like questions, something like that, they can like create an issue. The developer are going to read the issue. Some of them are debugging things. Some of them are asking for new function. Some of them are just they have an error in the code and no one knows why. They just want some help along the way. So I actually answer a lot of email, response to a lot of issue on not really related to the development of the software, but to help the people debug their code because they might just start out programming, coding. I don't mind doing that, but this kind of thing can take a really long time. And in many cases, you feel like you are doing customer service instead of really developing things because, like, after all, your software has to be used by someone else. You have to communicate with the people. You have to respond to their needs, and whatever they need, you have to think about if you want to provide that. Because a software is useless if it does not like meet anyone's demand. So basically, this is one thing that you might want to think of. Another is that like writing code for software package is very, very different from writing codes for data analysis. I'm not sure if you have tried that. So basically, when you write codes for data analysis, maybe at the beginning you will read a data file and then you do some analysis and then you plot something. But writing code for software package is nothing like that. First thing first, I'm not sure any of you have tried writing a test case. I'm not sure. I think many of you don't even know what is a test case. So basically, test case are scenario that you want to test your function. Like my function is getting all the tweets, and then you have your function there, and then you have the expected outcome at the end, so that whenever you update your package, on the back end, there are some computer, cloud computer, they will run your package, run your whole program again to see if the input is getting the expected output. So basically, there are a lot of things that is like extremely boring if you are interested in like making new things and then doing analysis, but they are extremely important because when you are working with a software package, chances are you are not the only one who writing things and you are dependent on the other functions that written by other people. They might change things and they might not know you are using their function or whatnot. So things can change. The code can actually blow up. So you need the test case to make sure that whatever change you have made actually does not mess things up along the way. So this is extremely important, but I've come across no one who said who are enjoying like writing test case. I'm one of them. I don't really like that, but I have to do that. If I don't do that, my collaborator will score me for that, will call me out. So basically that's that. So you have to do the test case. And this is only one thing. Another thing is like the documentation. You have to write a lot of like examples that may or may not be relevant for each edge case. Each of the arguments you have to provide a description. Many of the things are much less fun than doing analysis or like writing the program and then make it run and do crazy things. So there are a lot of maintenance behind the scene. It takes up a lot of time, and I'm not sure if you enjoy doing that, but even if you are not enjoying doing that, you have to do that. So this is one thing that you need to think about. Do you have the time to invest? Another thing is that so here's a documentation of the Twitter API. It is actually written in a language that is very dense and very alien to me. Like even I'm a kind of like a good programmer, I would say. But for me, it also takes me a lot of time to actually read through the whole document written in a very, very dry language and very, very inaccessible in many ways. You have to do that if you want to develop a package that interact with something else. And because the people who are writing this kind of documentation, they are not social scientists, they are computer scientists, it is kind of natural for them to write in this way, and it is also kind of natural for them to read in this way. So you have to adapt to that because we are not software engineer by training. And so basically, I have two more takeaway. The first one is like it requires a lot of learning. Even if you are already good at coding, you have to still learn a lot more because you are not trained to do software development. So do you have the time for that? Is my question. Another is that it is very time consuming, like I have said many times. Customer service takes time. You will receive a lot of email. Responding to the email takes time. Debugging other people code takes time. When people ask for a new function, you want to develop a function and also write the test case and documentation for them. Takes a lot of time. Do you have the time to spare, or do you enjoy spending the time for that? If the answer is yes, I would say then maybe it is the right thing for you to do. Okay, I have talked about the good and the bad and the ugly. I mean, I am not sure if you have heard anything about Twitter. If you have heard anything about Twitter, we all know how it's ended. And this is what I'm going to talk about. Okay, so basically, I would like to start on the positive side. The collaboration with Twitter was one of the most fruitful and actually beautiful collaboration I've ever seen in like industry and academic collaboration. So at the start of the package, and basically we built the package got many people to use, and Twitter actually has some people, something like a community manager, they call it like developer advocate. So basically they are hired by Twitter, professional people who get connect with developer and then kind of like listen to what the developer want and then be connected with them. So I was in touch with one of those person, like very, very good person, and we were in a very close cooperative relationship. So basically, whenever, because by the time I developed the package, Twitter API version 2 was quite new. So uh, it weren't many functions there, and then they were still developing it. So sometimes the people will ask me like, what functions do you want? I said what I want, and then they will actually think about it, and then they will actually implement it. This is one thing that is good. Another thing is that in my experience, they also tell me in advance when they are going to launch a new function on the API so that I can test the function beforehand and then develop the software package along with the API and then release on the same day. So when Twitter has a new function, I also have a new function for the people to use. So the whole process is very fruitful and it's very transparent, and I can feel like there are mutual trust between me and Twitter and whatnot. So basically, it was a very, very fruitful collaboration, and I had a very good feeling about it until whatever happens. So basically, this happened. And yeah, this happened. So after this happened, so basically the collaboration it was never called off. I just never hear from them again. And I my academic Twitter, the API key for the academic access was disabled eventually, and basically that's that. And that's the end. So I'm not going to say too much about it. I have many things that I want to say, but I might not be, yeah, it is not appropriate to say. So basically, yeah. So that's that. That's that. Okay, takeaway number 7. Software, research software often depends on some other things. And these other things are not always dependable. So in my case, my research software, academic Twitter depends on Twitter. And Twitter can change because whatever you are doing, whatever you're using is basically meaningless for them. To them, like giving data to academics is a charity at best, or even I don't know what is that. So basically, they have nothing to gain. They even hire people to cater your needs is something admirable, but they don't have to do it, and they can take it back anytime. And in my experience, they actually took it back like in a very short time. So basically, if you are building your research software and then you expect the software to grow, become one of the centerpiece of your future work, be a little bit careful about that because things change and nothing is permanent. In my case, it was one of my greatest project, but it can be useless overnight. So this is one thing that you need to care about. And the same thing goes onto other projects as well. I'm not sure if you heard of like Facebook, and there was an app called Netflix to get Facebook data. It was going really, really well. I used it in my PhD thesis, but then overnight, uh, Facebook just said, no, I don't want you to use my data anymore. And then the software is actually dead. And this is also not limited to social media. If you are building a software, let's say I want to use large language model to understand something, you might need to depend on maybe large language models or maybe OpenAI or some other tech firm to provide you the interface or something like that. But there's no guarantee that today they are happily selling you the credits to use the software. There's no guarantee that tomorrow they will actually do the same. And we have already seen something like that, right? Like the most newest version of Llama, it is not usable in EU because they don't like how EU handle the DSA and whatnot. So these kind of things, they have a lot of power, and it is totally in their power to make any changes. And if you're dependent on them in any ways, you are kind of like vulnerable to their wish. So this is one thing to think about when you try to invest, like go all in into research software development. Like how much are you dependable on other person, and how independent you are, and what if the things goes away, do you have anything left? In my case, I'm okay because whatever I've built for academic tutor, I can actually use it for other platform as well. I also adapt the academic tutor to other platform like CloudTango. The API is actually the same thing, quite the same, so I can pivot. But not all software are like that. Some software can only serve one purpose. So that's that. So this is kind of like a long talk about my experience and history about many things. I think I will actually stop there, and I will listen to if you have any questions, or if you want to know more about my experience, I'm happy to answer that. So that's that. I will stop here. Thanks a lot for having me.